Monitors are charged with negligent homicide.
Prosecutors say a mother of three was murdered by someone they were tracking. Now the Louisiana Supreme Court has cleared the way for those charges to go forward. Rob Masson has the chilling details.
She was fun. She loved to have fun. She laughed a lot. She was a joy to all of us. She was just a caring, loving, supportive mom. Had I thought he would do it, what he did, I would have never let my mom stay at her home by herself until something was done. It breaks my heart today that I wasn't there.
It all began in August of 2021 when Peggy Beasley went to police in St. Francisville, alleging her husband and the man she knew for nearly 2 decades, Marshall Rayburn, was drugging and raping her.
She woke up with abdominal pains and clearly had been taken advantage of.
Prosecutors say Rayburn documented his crimes with pictures that were stored on his computer. Police arrested him for second-degree rape. After posting a $100,000 bond, he was released from jail with an ankle monitor and told to stay away from his wife's home. That exclusion zone, an imaginary circle that included hundreds of feet around her house, was programmed into the monitor. Our national investigative team analyzed the GPS coordinates. Data reveals 4 days after Rayburn began wearing it, he entered the exclusion zone on September 1st, triggering a notification to the monitoring company 5 different times. Over the next 2 weeks, he did it again and again. And there were also other notification triggers, like when the device lost communication. This map shows how many times he went back to the area where the victim was, even though he told the court he was staying with his daughter 41 miles away. On September 20th, Rayburn showed back up at his wife's home, hid out in the laundry room, and waited for Peggy to start her nighttime routine.
And he knew that she would go out and take the dogs out one last time before she went to bed.
District Attorney Sam DeQuilla says a neighbor heard screams and rushed to help. He described the dramatic scene which played out over a 911 call.
Marshall put the gun to the neighbor's chest and fired through her chest, through her back, and hit the victim in the eye and killed her.
Rayburn then turned the gun on himself. When law enforcement arrived, crime scene photos revealed he had wrapped his ankle monitor in aluminum foil to scramble the signal. That was successful, the monitor noting a loss of communication on the device, which prosecutors say also should have sparked a notification by the ankle monitoring company.
He blatantly broke the rules and he tested them. He would ride by, a certain area just to see if it would trigger. And the GPS data shows that.
Incredulous over what unfolded, prosecutors say their research showed that the ankle monitoring company, AEM, out of Mississippi, did not bother to notify anyone of the zone violations or the communication losses on Marshall Rayburn's ankle monitor.
It's a slap in the face to the victims and to the public because of the false sense of security that they have. These are dangerous individuals that are being monitored, and they're committing crimes with no oversight and no consequences, and the companies have no consequences at all.
This case helped spur state lawmakers to pass a law earlier this year requiring electronic monitoring companies to actually track their devices placed on defendants and react to violations or face consequences.
You can go to jail if you screw this stuff up.
This new law is designed to put teeth into rules governing electronic monitoring companies, but this technology, which is designed to provide alternatives to incarceration, is not foolproof. Even though Marshall Rayburn covered his monitor in foil, monitor reform advocates say the tamper should have been caught and Rayburn immediately arrested.
If you wrap tinfoil around the device, you're going to end up receiving an alert that says comm loss, location loss. Both fell out.
Our national investigative team looked at ankle monitoring laws across America and found most states do not have a provision that allows for law enforcement or a prosecutor to charge ankle monitoring companies and their employees with a crime if they fail to notify law enforcement of a breach. On January 1st, Louisiana will become the first state in the country with such a law. Frustrated with the lack of accountability, District Attorney Sam DeQuilla, in one of the first of its kind indictments in the country, charged the owner of the monitoring company AEM and an employee tasked with monitoring Rayburn with negligent homicide in a South Louisiana court.
Why wasn't my mother notified? Why weren't the police notified? And just pure anger to see with facts in your face that this was completely preventable.
That's one of the hardest things for my brothers and I, for us to live with, knowing that her life could have been saved so many times. So it didn't have to be this. It didn't have to be.
After the indictment, the owners of the ankle monitoring company won an appeal to have their indictment tossed out. But this summer, the state Supreme Court in Louisiana ruled the indictment was valid and the case could move forward.
The system failed. The system is failing. We're doing everything we can to hold somebody accountable for the death of their mother.
Under Louisiana's new law beginning January 1st, companies not in compliance and their employees can face up to 6 months in prison and fines if they don't report ankle monitor violations to law enforcement. The company involved would also be banned from doing business in the state for 5 years.
If you can be proven to have deliberately not done your job, you can be attached to a crime, and that's exactly what's going on.
Matt Dennis with ASAP Relief says Louisiana's new law will make this state a national leader when it comes to reforming largely unregulated ankle monitoring companies. But it comes too late for the family of Peggy Beasley.
We miss her. We miss her. She was one of a kind. She truly was. I know people say that, but she was a good one.
Fox 8 reached out to AEM, the monitoring company mentioned in this report, along with their owner and lawyer for a comment. We did not hear back. Earlier this year, court documents show the defendants challenged the indictment, claiming there was no legal basis to charge them with a crime, but the case is moving forward.
More than 34,000 gallons of oil spilled into